live from your ESG EV dipstick. I didn't know. Those cars have dipsticks? Didn't know that.
Are you sure?
Or
you
is
don't
it the
need
CEO of
stick
the cars that's the dipstick?
Oh.
No, where you check the oil. It's a Business Pants Friday show here at January 17th Studios featuring analyst hole Matt Moscardi. Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of emphasis on the whole.
On today's weekly wrap-up, the CEO takeover has accelerated. Bravery for sale at Costco, and men finally have some power.
At long last. This is gonna be
men are back.
The theme of the year. Men finally get some power.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlowAnalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power connections and performance for free. It might be one of the last places for accountability left, especially for free. Matt, Hindenburg Research is dropping out of the game. It's like, the SEC is going to be shut soon. I mean, who's going to be, is anybody going to be accountable for anything?
Just us, baby. Woo!
Yes. Yeah.
Let's do it. I don't want to belabor this show any more than I have to.
Let's go.
It's
Jump into it then.
63 hours long. Let's do this.
You run it. Once you play the music, I'm ready.
Oh, the music's going. So you're just on a time delay.
Great. That's all I've ever wanted, to be on a time delay. Story of the week for the week ending in January 17th, 2025. Matt, the real story is I only have 3 stories. Only 3 stories
all
this week.
right. That's all right.
That in
Can we
itself
just
was a
end it
victory.
there? This is over. Let's end it.
And the last one you're going to mock, but I think it's actually an interesting harbinger to our coming times. But the first story of the week, this is out of the New York Times. CEOs hail the chief. Okay, well,
like this story.
What they're referring to is that none other than Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg are not only going to attend Trump's inauguration, but they're all going to be sitting together on the inauguration platform. They're going to be right up there with the king, Matt.
Wow, isn't
this great?
That actually makes his ass so much closer to their lips. That's very convenient.
On top of that, there is widespread reporting that there's already been about $200 million going to Trump's inauguration festivities from corporations or even from some just private CEOs, just from their own checkbook. We have more on that later. And to put that number into context, Matt, only about $60 million went to Biden's last inauguration. Now we're getting close to $200 million.
I'm sure Donald Trump's got a hat being printed in China right now that said my inauguration fund is bigger than Biden's.
So CEOs, this is the year. I know you think CEOs have been suffering despite their pay going up every year since Jesus first did the Wordle, but. Yeah, CEOs are having a great time. They're having a great January.
Was Jesus good at Wordle? Was he?
It was great. He got first time every time. First word. All right, that's the first story of the week. CEOs hail the chief. Okay, Matt, the second story of the week. Talk about these 2 stories might best describe the transition of the executive branch in the United States. So we're going from Trump, who's gathering all the CEO cash and having a grand old party, who's leaving is Biden, Joe Biden. In his farewell address, President Joe Biden warned of an oligarchy taking shape in America. Yeah, he's actually warning of this. He said that today an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. And he's speaking specifically, Matt. He says that he is concerned about the potential rise of a tech industrial complex. And what that's referring to is former President Eisenhower, who warned in the 50s of a military industrial complex. And that warning didn't do us much good. So unfortunately, I don't know if this warning is going to do us any good. We seem to be the only podcast, the only company in this space that seems to care about the rising oligarchy. But Matt, President Biden is agreeing that our company is important. That's what he's saying. He's
Yeah, I
saying
love
free
that.
float-
You know what?
Free float needs to keep going.
You know what strikes me about it? That we are Russia. And we're all the things that we hate now. We're Russia, we're China, we're all of those things. Like the oligarchy's real.
But what an incredible moment. I mean, I never thought I'd see any president warning about a tech industrial complex or warning about an oligarchy. But that it's a transition from Biden to Trump is all the more startling. Really, it's kind of a mind-blowing moment for me. I'm trying to wrap my head around it all. I'm trying not to be constantly crying into my cold coffee, but
Oh yeah.
hey, this is where we're at. This is where we're at.
Warm
And that's
up
the
your
second big
coffee, and
story
then
of
you
the
can
week.
cry into warmer coffee.
Here's the other startling thing about this, Matt. As you know, because you're one of the demons who like created the system that keeps me tied to my keyboard. But I go over thousands of headlines every week to compile these shows. And Matt, I had to go to my own news source to capture the story that talked about Biden warning about the tech industrial complex and the oligarchy. He's referring specifically to Elon Musk, to Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos. None of the regular business news, the regular financial news, even the ESG news, none of them picked up on this story. Even CNBC didn't want to cover the story. I had to go to like other outlets like, like NBC News or CNN. For the business news just wanted to ignore it completely. They didn't care.
I mean, he's a lame duck president on his way out with no
Okay.
power. In fact,
Well-
the TikTok ban just like it got upheld. So on January 19th, in 2 days, hypothetically, TikTok is or can be banned. And who's listening to Biden? He punted on that too. Like he's rightfully, but like nobody's listening
Well,
to that guy now.
Talk about another shit show coming, right? So either we preserve TikTok and let that beast of stupidity keep going, or we get rid of it and we increase the power of Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and the rest, right? Like it's like what a great decision, what a wonderful moment. I used to be rooting for TikTok's demise because there's just like a garbage dump of ADHD nonsense, but now I'm like, wait a minute. It's just going to make Mark Zuckerberg more powerful if it goes away.
The demise of everything, all of them.
Yeah,
They
the
can all
demise of
be
everything.
demised.
That's the second story of the week. How about this third story of the week? This is a little bit more esoteric. And this is coming from DJ D. Saul out of Goldman
Ooh,
Sachs.
I love DJ D. Saul.
So CEO David Solomon said two things this week that really interested me. The first, he's I don't know if he's bragging or I don't know what he's doing. He's flexing, but he's saying now that AI can write 95% of an IPO prospectus. Okay, so this is the filing, the S1 filing that companies need to file, before they IPO. He said that this usually took a 6-person team 2 weeks to complete. Now 95% of it can be done in minutes by AI, just in minutes. He also said at the same time that he questioned startups' needs to list in the first place.
Ooh.
Why I hung up on this statement was that I made a prediction in our prediction show, I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, that that disclosure was in for real trouble this year, right? It's going to be a decline of disclosure in general.
Mm-hmm.
But this scares me even more. What David Solomon is suggesting, he's the CEO of Goldman Sachs, is don't even list in the first place. There's so much private company, there's so much private capital. Why even bother through the headache of going public and having all this scrutiny, having shareholders try to tell you what to do, have stakeholders weigh in? He's just saying, screw it. Let's just keep it all private and dark, right? I mean, that to me, these two things really scare me. They really scare me.
The first one doesn't scare me that much, mostly because has anybody read an IPO prospectus?
Okay, what scares me, I guess I'm tying it back to the tech industrial complex. What scares me, Matt, is that the chucklehead dudes, the Elon Musks, the Mark Zuckerbergs who are creating the AI, that AI is the one that's going to be writing our everything. They're going to be writing the narrative of our futures. Just a couple of boys and their companies, like they get to decide the brains that go into that AI. So that's why I refer to that one, because I don't like the idea. I'd rather have people working out problems because maybe, Matt, maybe some of those people can be women or people of color. It doesn't have to be all
Oh, how
Elon
dare
Musk's
you,
buddies.
you socialist DEI.
Well, I'm just saying it's a possibility, right? But if AI takes over, there is no possibility. It's all from the minds of creepy Mark Zuckerberg types.
No, it's all from the minds of 13-year-old boys posting on the internet.
That's what I said.
That was
That's what I said.
that's
Matt, as you point out eloquently and repeatedly, the empire of Mark Zuckerberg was created. It's a college dropout who created a company so that he could rate women, right?
Yeah,
He could.
yeah.
That's
the first
where
idea,
Facebook started.
right?
He
That was
could
the first
rate
idea.
fellow Harvard students. I mean, think how creepy of a beginning that is in the first place. Anyway,
So
those are my
three
stories.
options. My three
Yeah.
options here
I'm all
are
excited.
the CEOs kissing Trump's ass, Biden warning of the oligarchy that's taking shape. Biden, it's not taking shape. It already exists. Are you kidding me?
I think he's also promoting our company.
And Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon's predictions of the AI replacement theory and
Dark mode.
Companies should just stay dark.
Yeah.
Man,
Sorry for the.
I don't
Sorry
know
for
if I
the
like-
joy. There's a joy parade. I
don't
dealt you.
feel
Sorry.
any good about
Well,
any of these.
You could pick Biden because I do think it is one of the. It will be an enduring hope for our company, right? If you do care about accountability, if you want to say a thing, do a thing, invest a certain way, vote a certain way, and you agree, then our data becomes even more valuable. And our point of view becomes even more valuable.
See, I love what you're doing there, selling
I'm
free flow
trying.
analytics data.
I'm trying.
But
Someone has to.
I do think the story of the week is CEOs hail the chief. I mean, that's the actual the of the week, right? Everything else is
Yeah.
sort of like the next 10 years where we all die.
It's true. That's true.
So I'm going with of the week this
All right.
week. Let's do something good. Is there anything good to talk about?
Yeah, let's transition to Goodly. Yes, I have a few good stories. Yeah, let's transition.
I've got one good story. That's all I got.
Yeah, you go first.
It's just a straight headline. European Union orders X to hand over algorithm documents. What I like about
like
this
that.
is mostly like A, that Elon doesn't want to do it,
like an
so that's
order.
always good. But B, it's in the algorithm. The racism is in the algorithm, right? Like its ability
That's
to
what I'm talking about. That's
post
what I
and
just
shadow
referred to.
ban
Yeah.
and all that stuff. It's all in the algorithm. So I like that they're forcing the algorithm out. There was a second story that I almost chose that was Biden in the last waning days of his presidency approved $20 billion of clean tech infrastructure in investing. So
Yep.
those are my two contenders here.
All going to Tennessee and Alabama, probably.
But that
hey.
was why I didn't choose the second
Yeah.
one, because every time
Right.
they fucking invest in it, it goes to all the states that are voting for the people that are trying to kill it, right? They get all the money.
and the people
and the
restricting
politics.
general equal rights and human rights.
It's unbelievable that the red states are the biggest beneficiaries of the clean tech boom in this country, and they're the ones trying to kill the clean tech boom. Like
Ironic.
people are so blind to the hypocrisy of it. But so I went with European Union orders X hand over
I
algorithm
like that.
documents.
And the only reason why I'm not a big fan of this is that you were talking about a story earlier this week about a shift to the right in the EU, and we were
true.
talking about how that's going to change the makeup of the European Commission. The European Commission is probably the one that ordered this handover. So I don't know how long that they're going to be able to hang on. There's already several reports of Elon Musk getting involved with foreign elections now in the UK, in
why not?
Germany,
He won this one. Just get
in
all of them.
Canada. Yeah. So anyway, but I'll take that as a pretty positive story. Mine is a little bit more simple, although I think maybe you'll mock this because they're doing what they should be doing in the first place. They're not actually making changes. They're just holding the line. But I'm going to applaud Costco, Delta, and Apple. But really, Costco is my number one champion for bravery. But all three are holding the line on DEI. They're backing diversity programs. They're not falling for this bullshit, for this racist, misogynistic crap, and they're coming out and they're publicly declaring, no, Robbie Starbuck, we don't need your hate to run our companies.
Can I ask you, did
Yeah.
any one of them also, when they said like we're doubling down or we're backing DEI or whatever, did any of them also say we are full-throated, red-blooded capitalists alongside saying it? Or,
That's what Jamie Dimon says. That's in
that's
the
what
Jamie Dimon says book.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure, I want to see if like everybody else says that too. Like
Well-
we're capitalists, but like you can be a gay capitalist or a black capitalist or a female capitalist.
Sure.
That's fine.
Well, speaking of gay capitalists, Tim, interesting out of Apple is that Apple is backing its diversity programs, right? It's sticking to this DEI programs, and Apple. It wasn't Apple that donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration. It was actually Tim Cook personally.
Oh,
I thought that was interesting.
There we
But
go, Timmy.
but what we were seeing with the other tech companies is that the companies are donating. But in this instance, it wasn't actually Apple. It was Tim Cook himself.
Well, that means because Tim Cook was one of the people who didn't want to join the original business council in Trump 1.0, right? Like
That was back when Trump seemed more normal. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's just everyone's just embraced it. Everyone's like,
just embraced
well, we
it.
can't
Let's-
not be there. Is really now everybody's
Yeah,
got to
well,
be in the room and
gotta
they're all
be
kissing
there.
the ring. It
Gotta
is
be there.
very like mafioso. They're all
It's
bending
weird.
the knee, kissing the ring. It's
I gotta tell you, the last few months have been really strange for me. Like an intellectual strange feeling, because I expected depression. I expected a hangover from from journalists, a lot of people on the left. I didn't expect like this utter silence. I just feel like most people have just given up and shutting up.
Wake
They're
up,
like
people.
they're changing the missions of their companies. Like you told me about a company that was supporting diverse board placements, just deciding they're not going to support diversity in board placement anymore. They're just changing their. I don't know what the hell is going on, Matt. Like, why would him winning make you give up? I don't understand that.
I mean, they're worried about like litigation, but get over it.
Get a lawyer.
You got staffs of lawyers, and
Yeah.
what you're telling, like there was a headline this week that basically said like the war on DEI is a war on labor. It's not a war on DEI, and that's absolutely right, because all you're doing is killing a huge portion of the workforce without giving them the opportunity to sort of have rights or stand up for themselves. It's like. We just saw that college admissions in the United States, at the death of affirmative action, the number of black students admitted to colleges went down, which
Yeah.
is exactly what they wanted. They wanted white people to have those spots. And
Well,
it's
here's where-
not a meritocracy. It's not about like the white people are better and that's why it happened, which is the narrative they want to spin to you.
Yeah, that's
it's
what they
about
want you to think.
opportunity.
You have said many times that you're upset with Arjuna Capital for giving up its fight against Exxon, and I agree with you in this instance as well. Is that it is often in litigation where you can help make progress in our land, right? You shouldn't give up the fight before it comes to you. Yes, you're going to spend some money. Yes, you might lose the case, but you also might win the case. You might set a legal precedent that could benefit millions of people around you. So to give it up before the fight even comes to you is crazy to me.
Look, the problem persistently is going to be everyone. This new MAGA movement and the sort of tech bro embrace of it has come to is they're forcing everybody to choose between their morals or their livelihoods, as in
kiss the ring or their morals.
kiss the ring and make some money and have your kids and have a barbecue every once in a while and shut up.
Yeah.
Or
A nice
stand
barbecue.
for something. Like have meaning in your life, because like enjoy going to work, enjoy the fact that your colleagues are diverse and interesting. Like recognize that opportunity should be opportunity for all. Like that. They're basically making you pick. That's what they're making you pick. Which
Well, or at least that's the narrative, Matt. We think they're making them pick, but is there any proof that these people are going to be losing their jobs? I mean, or is it just fear? I mean, what Trump is great at is fear mongering.
I
Right?
mean, with the Arjuna sort of example, right? Like they're making,
True.
they're putting them in a position to pick.
True.
They're making companies pick, like pick between
Yep.
litigating with us for the next 4 years or just kill your DEI programs. And
Right.
like,
Give up.
and that is a fairly binary choice. The problem is when they make you pick with the one thing and you kiss the ring, you've kissed the ring. That means they're going to make you pick on everything. There's no stopping. This isn't like a slippery slope. It is a straight cliff. You said you came to the edge of the cliff and they said jump off the cliff. Or like we will fight you for the rest of the next 4 years.
The slippery slope is fun compared to this cliff. The slippery slope, you can get a sled. I mean, you can
at
get hot cocoa at the
least
bottom,
is a
right? I
ride.
mean, this this is just a straight drop.
is
All right, so what's the goodliest?
All right, so
I know what I think goodliest. What do you
well,
think?
I'm going to vote for yours because I like that
I'm
there's
gonna
somebody
vote.
fighting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Costco. I'm just gonna say Costco because I think
now,
they're the canary in the coal mine. Costco.
now that we
Yeah,
somehow
go ahead.
turned goodliest into also worst, let's do asshole.
Wait. Did we? Did we? No, I'm here to celebrate Costco. I'm here to celebrate Costco.
Let's do asshole.
Yeah, let's transition.
All right, I have 4 today.
Oh, yeah.
The first one is alpha masculine cosplay. That is the first one.
Yeah.
So look, I don't know. This isn't a realization that's like unique to me. I just realized it kind of now. But if you look around at effectively who's running, you're talking about the oligarchy, right? These are all middle school beta males. These are all the kids who couldn't get girlfriends, didn't get laid. I mean, I don't want to be crass about it, but Vivek
which
Ramaswamy.
You already have, so keep going.
Vivek Ramaswamy literally said, we venerated jocks over valedictorians, which when you translate that is like jocks get chicks, valedictorians don't, right? Like that's the middle school male view of jocks and valedictorians.
Sure.
All of them have just woken up. They've been able to ride the Trump movement and waking up and saying, do you guys know Elon is the tip of the spear. He said, he realized I have fuck you money. I don't have I'm not like a millionaire. I have fuck you billions. As in, I can do whatever I want. And why am I doing anything I don't feel like? Which is the most middle school reaction. Like I can, like my version of being a big boy is buying Twitter and like launching rockets into space, right? Like
it's like look at the bully's reaction the day that middle school announces that they're no longer going to be giving out detentions. Look at his face.
Exactly, that's correct.
Yeah, that's what correct. Elon Musk is living through right now. Because even when the SEC has a legitimate complaint against him. He just acts like a petulant child. He just can't believe that anyone would. No matter how big or small, he just can't beve anyone would ever get him in trouble for anything.
There was a story that Sam Harris, who's like a neuroscientist and like he's a speaker, he's a prominent atheist speaker.
Yeah.
He's an interesting dude. Elon Musk bet Sam Harris $1 million that there would be more than 35,000 COVID cases in the U.S. That was
just cases. 35,000 cases.
That was at the start of it. And then after he lost the bet 7 minutes into the bet because COVID swept Earth, he started trying to dunk on Sam Harris. Like he basically tried to mocked him, made fun of him.
He called him an idiot essentially, and he stopped being his friend. They stopped talking to each other.
Can you think of a more juvenile way to exist in the world?
Can I just say that the other part of that story that just is confounding that we're all like bowing to the genius of Elon Musk is that do you know that his logic why he made the bet with Sam Harris is that in March of 2020 is when the pandemic was just starting. Remember, proudly I will say that on this show we had been talking about it since January. Like we were already
a long time.
kind of biting our nails down because we saw it coming. Because we were following the news. But Elon Musk's logic to make this bet that he sent Sam Harris a list from the FDA, or I think it was the FDA, one of the bureaucratic organizations that publishes these stats, that listed the top 100 the top 100 causes of death in the United States, and COVID was not one of them, Matt.
Oh, there
That
you go.
was his logic.
Nailed it.
But I mean, how idiotic and childish is this guy in the first place? Like, we've all been succumbing to this idea that he's such a genius. What kind of a thought process is that?
So effectively,
Before
what you
the
have,
pandemic even grabbed on, he was, and there were no reported deaths yet. He thought that's proof that it won't cause any deaths. I mean, astounding. I'm astounded by that.
But the sum total of what we have then is middle school beta boys who are pretending to be alphas and masculine and strong, and like they're like cosplaying as adults, and that for them effectively means dunking on women, gays, blacks, trans people. Like, they dunk on.
I think
everyone.
I think you had the Mark Zuckerberg story that I was going to put in my headline, yes, but this was the story that this is basically like the end of the line for me. This is like I can't even believe, like, right, like, you're just like giving away the play. Like, tell them what Mark Zuckerberg said about Sheryl Sandberg.
Zuck said that Sheryl Sandberg is the reason. He blamed Sheryl Sandberg for their DEI initiatives. He basically said, "Mommy made me do it." That's basically what he said.
He blamed, which we've been joking about for years. He blamed the COO of his company, the woman working underneath him, the company that he controls completely. He blamed the only woman really that had any power for the diversity. I mean, what he's basically saying is that he's angry at and blaming the woman for advocating for women. That's essentially where we are in U.S. history. I can't even believe that he would say this out loud. I mean,
it is the rise of the middle school beta like cosplay cohort. I mean, he also said that companies need more masculine energy.
Right.
Like,
yes.
There are stories this week. So Elon apparently showed up on a live stream on Twitter, playing a video game called Path of Exile. The video game, like Path of Exile 2, it came out like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's not that long ago. And professional video game players have been playing it for the entire time, like sleepless entire time, to get to the highest level in the game, which takes hours and like, no joke.
Oh, yeah, it's like 100
all
hours
said,
a week probably.
To get to that point, to get to like the highest point in the game, to like top hardcore level, whatever it is. I'm not going to pretend I play the game and I know. You have to spend basically every waking minute playing that game.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Elon Musk turns on a live stream, starts playing Path of Exile 2 with a character that is leaps and bounds beyond the best professional players in the game, and in the live stream goes over his character and was so obviously unclear, like what things were, like had no real command of like how to play the game, what to click on, what to, like, was reading things out. Like, he claimed that it was his character.
Matt,
and he
could
pretended
post this
that it was
now.
his when we all know that he didn't do it.
Well, the good news is that he can post this on Twitter, X. He can post this now on Facebook and Instagram, and there'll be no fact checking. He can say whatever he wants about his.
But here's the thing about that. Think about the pathology behind that. Who are you trying to impress? Like,
I don't mind I don't mind the pathology if it doesn't come with $800 billion in wealth.
But that's the problem, right? Like,
if he's making $80,000 a year, I'm okay with this.
If he were an actual middle schooler, we'd be like, oh, that's so sad, right? Like, you so want desperately to get in on this community that you're willing to effectively pay or cheat to get like the best thing in that video game. He went on Joe Rogan and talked about how he's one of the best video game players in the world, and there's no way anyone.
Who is he saying that to anyway? But who is he showing off to? Just like fellow middle school kids, right? It's like, I don't even understand. I can't follow this. Yeah,
like,
and to get back to your point on Mark Zuckerberg about how there needs to be more masculinity in corporations, like, there are so many different ways of parsing that as being a horrifying and sad statement. but it's already controlled by men. It's already dominated by men.
Of course.
We reported on a story that the Fortune 500 female CEOs in the Fortune 500 has just eclipsed the 10% mark for the first time. It's at 11%. So I don't even know what Mark is suggesting. I don't even know what Elon. What are we talking about here? Like
we got to be more aggressive with more men.
When had they ceded power in the first place? This is why my head is spinning about this new generation, this Trump 2.0, because I don't remember when any power was ceded. I don't know.
Well,
because
to wrap it up, Trump tapped Mel Gibson, Sly Stallone, and John Voight as Hollywood ambassadors.
Trigger warning,
to change Hollywood, to make them
three hate
them to
crimes
go back to the golden era of Hollywood, and all of whom are like 75 years old at this point. Also, and Bezos launched
varying degrees of
phallus.
anti-Semitic trash. Yeah.
And then Bezos launched a huge phallus into the sky.
Okay, can we move on from this?
And Musk and Bezos were sending each other BFF memes on, like, fist bump memes on Twitter. So,
this is what scares
the masculine
me.
cosplay is out of control.
This is what scares me about the next 4 years, especially if the groups that were fighting this stop fighting this. Like, now is the absolute wrong time to give up, because if you let 4 years of this feel normal to most Americans, like feel normal to young people, feel normal to just your regular worker, this is a problem. This is a problem. This shouldn't be normal. They shouldn't take this as feeling normal.
The amount of people who are fighting a ban on TikTok, redirect your energy and fight masculine cosplay. That's the real thing. It's not TikTok. But I'll come back to that. Number two.
So that's your number one asshole.
Two.
Number one asshole is
masculine cosplay. The middle schoolers.
Okay, what's number two?
Number two is inauguration hypocrisy.
We covered that a little bit. Yeah.
Well, let's play a little game. I'm going to give you a little game. You ready for this?
I'm
going to give you a name, and you tell me whether they're a hypocrite or not. Because the definition of a hypocrite here,
hypocrite or not,
is. Do you traditionally give more to Democrats or Republicans? And this
Can I
time,
say they're all hypocrites?
You're deep in the top, one of the top 10 donors to the Trump inauguration. Let's start with Boeing. Boeing gave $1 million.
Yeah, they gave $1 million. I don't even know. The funny thing about Boeing is, like, where are they finding this $1 million anyway? Like, shouldn't that be reserved for something else?
I think they borrowed it from They borrowed it from Dave Calhoun. He had like $39 million on his way out, or $42 million, right?
Look, the reality of this is that I could roll my eyes at all these companies, but they're all doing it for favors, right? This is all just cronyism. I'm right. They're hoping that regulation goes their way. What should I be surprised by any of this? I mean,
well, you shouldn't be. You should be surprised by some of them, but not others. But
I don't know if I should call them a hypocrite or not. I'm really unclear. I'll say hypocrite. I'll play the game. Hypocrite.
Not a hypocrite. You're wrong. They actually, according to Goods Unite Us, which is a great site if you want to know how companies donate their money, 45% Dem, 55% GOP.
So they kind of wisely hand out to both parties.
They're probably given on every inauguration. Fine, whatever. The big government contractor.
I understand that.
Well, let's do Ford, for instance.
Ford, the great Ford family, making cars that nobody really wants. The
Another
trucks,
$1 million.
People like the trucks, Another $1 million. There's no way. Did the Ford family really donate to Democrats? Well, they are in Detroit, which is traditionally a proud Democratic city. I'll say they're hypocrites.
You'd be wrong. They are 50-50.
I'm not good at this game.
Everybody equally. Well, I'm setting you up for the next one, which will be easy, which is Hyundai. Hyundai, not even an American company, gave $1 million.
So did Toyota, right? So did
Toyota to the Trump inauguration.
Well,
but
I don't know what to say about Hyundai. I don't know what to say, whether they're hypocrites or not. You tell me.
Hypocrites, because 75% of their donations traditionally go to Democrats.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Hyundai USA, probably. Hyundai USA.
I'll give you two more.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Meta.
Well, I mean,
what do you
Mark Zuckerberg
what do you think?
But he has no soul. I mean, do we know what he thinks about anything? I mean, he just kind of goes with the wind. No, I mean, especially now that the woman he's blaming for doing all the womanly things is gone, he just kind of makes it up as he goes along, right?
What did Mark Zuckerberg? Remind me what that guy invented. He basically
invented
stole
a
Facebook.
company. He invented a company that rated other Harvard undergraduates, and he stole the idea from some people down the hall, some twins, some German twins or something.
He stole
Swiss
Facebook's
twins
the idea for Facebook and then built it. Good for you. He bought
good for you.
Instagram. He bought WhatsApp. He bought the Oculus Rift. The thing that he's built since being the CEO from scratch himself was the metaverse. Where's the metaverse again?
We've been saying here for many years is that probably the singular person who helped him build this empire was probably the actual CEO, Sheryl Sandberg. She was for a long time the adult in the room that kept him on track. Okay, is he a hypocrite? I don't think he's actually capable of being a hypocrite. I don't think he's necessarily a human being. I don't know that he has a soul.
Wow. You are correct. He is not a hypocrite.
I mean, getting rid of fact checking is that someone with a soul would get rid of fact? He's making it okay now to call gay people like they have
have a mental disorder. Yeah,
mental disorder. Like he has how is?
I believe we removed that from psychology textbooks like 20 years ago. So we figured that out.
So I don't know.
But Meta 46% Dem, 54% GOP. So
they're
not a hypocrite. How about, this is the last one, Uber.
Last one. Well, Uber is another weird one. Because I know that Uber gave $1 million, and then the CEO, Dara, he also gave $1 million of his own pocket.
Double down, baby.
So I don't know what's going on at Uber. I'm surprised that any of these California companies are such heavy Republican donors. Uber... I don't know about Uber. I'm going to say they're hypocrites, Uber.
They are the biggest hypocrite of the top donors. 93% of their donations have gone to Democrats. 7% to the GOP. Somehow managed to pony up $2 million between the CEO and the company.
This guy had to kiss his ass so much that not only did the company give, Matt, but he wanted everyone to know that he was giving his own money to Donald Trump.
What a bunch of fucking hypocrites you all are.
All right, that's number 2.
Number 2. Number 3.
Oh my God, how many more assholes do you have?
I'm so tired already. There's just so much going on. All right, number 3.
All right, come on. Yeah.
Autocrat hypocrites. The autocrat hypocrisy.
Okay, so we started with. Okay, so we had inauguration hypocrisy. Now we're off to autocrat hypocrisy.
Yeah, we got middle school. We got masculine cosplay. We've got inauguration hypocrisy. Now we're doing autocrat hypocrisy. And this based off of this headline: Instagram and YouTube prepared to benefit if TikTok is banned. Okay, so.
Oh yeah, of course.
First of all, rewrite the headline: Zuckerberg, Brin, and Page prepared to benefit if China is banned, because it's not TikTok, it's China, and it's not. Those companies are. They're privately held companies by 3 guys.
Yes.
Right?
So let's be clear, New York Times, like the way you constructed the thought is bizarre in the first place. Like they need is there room to benefit? I don't even know. Like there's such powerful monopolies in the first place. Like you know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
I mean, how much more can you benefit here? I don't.
I like to picture them building a giant net. And waiting for like the fish to fly their way, and they're just
it's like ordering a Coke at Olive Garden and getting a refill on the Coke. Are you benefiting from that refill? It's just more Coke. It's just more sugar. I don't know what we're talking about, New York Times.
But here's the thing. Here's what makes it hypocrisy. Because in America, we're talking about banning TikTok because it's a national security risk because of the influence of China, right? We didn't talk about banning TikTok. National security trumps children's health, right? TikTok, studies show that
China is scarier. Yes.
It is in 35 minutes. It is more addictive than meth and fentanyl.
Yes.
Like children are addicted inside of 35
especially
minutes.
to young women, young girls.
Women, it causes body dysphoria. There's all sorts of children mental health problems associated with social media. But China, that's the reason why we're gonna. Yeah. So, and the reason why we're afraid of China is because of something called the China threat theory. This is a long-running theory about the rise of China in global, power.
It's the new Cold War. Something had to replace Russia.
Kind of like, but it effectively covers 5 central issues. The China threat, that is economic consolidation. China bought a whole bunch of debt around the world and is a power player because of it.
Whose fault is that? Yeah.
Military spending in China. espionage, privacy,
They
cybersecurity
can't spend
issues.
as much as we spend. Yeah.
China is one of the top, beneficiaries, quote unquote, according to certain studies of, espionage and cybersecurity, privacy,
Just like the US or-
propaganda, and basically labor and human rights violations. Those are like the China threat, right? Like they
You sound
take
like you're
our
describing the
labor.
United States in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
You're describing our oligarchy in a lot of ways.
In
Yeah.
the United States, out of 2,200 publicly traded companies, according to Free Flow Analytics database, 743 of those companies are authoritarian companies. They are dual class.
Is that
They're
right?
fake public. They're founder led.
Yeah.
You
That's
do the math.
frightening. That's frightening.
That is a third of U.S. companies. 1/3 of U.S. companies, shareholders have virtually no power or no rights at
Well,
all.
right. And what I was referring to back at the top of the show with David Solomon saying that don't even bother going public, that's how we see these companies in the first place. They're barely public, right? They barely have any oversight.
There is no oversight. And the joke is,
Yeah.
Jamie Dimon said it outright. And that's not even one of the totalitarian or
No
authoritarian
boss.
companies.
He has no
right?
boss.
Like,
yeah.
So let's apply the China threat theory to those companies, right?
Okay.
Let's play this out. We're terrified
Sure.
of China for these reasons.
Yeah.
How about the companies? So totalitarian companies are 34% of the U.S. market, the 30
Yeah.
market cap. So that means 1 in 3 companies in your portfolio, if you're just an index, is totalitarian. How much more market consolidation? How much economic threat do you need? That's a lot of economic threat. Your retirement, a third of your retirement account is hinged in to companies where there's no oversight. They're basically China. It's a guy who says a thing and that thing happens. Okay?
Yeah.
So already you've got economic consolidation as a problem. Military spending. 2% of U.S. market cap is totalitarian companies with military contracts, Palantir being the largest. There are
Okay.
10 total totalitarian companies that do weapons manufacturing. Can you imagine a company like it being okay for a publicly traded company, if you are an investor, for them to have no oversight and the primary thing they do is manufacture weapons? That's what they do.
Well, we're also seeing this disturbing convergence of tech bros going into defense, like your Eric Schmidts
Yes.
of the world, right? And
Drone
they're
defense.
they're amassing, not only amassing like power, but they're also amassing like actual dollars, and they're taking those dollars from their fake holdings and they're getting into things like defense. So yeah, this goes a lot of different directions.
How
What
about
else do you have?
privacy? How about
Privacy.
espionage, privacy issues? Like we're worried about China spying on our kids.
Don't
and
these
our-
guys
our
doesn't like
families.
Zuck and Musk own our data anyway?
16% of the U.S. market cap are involved in privacy violations and data breaches.
Yeah, well,
16% of
course.
U.S. market cap of just the totalitarian companies. The top 4 are obviously the masculine cosplayers. It's Bryn Page, Bezos, Zuck, and Musk. Like there are so many issues with privacy in this country. We're looking at China and saying, well, we don't want them to have it, but we want 4 white guys to
Yeah,
have
but it's
it.
China, Matt. But it's China though.
How about propaganda? This was an interesting one. What I pulled is out of MSCI's database, they have a flag for controversies that are involving misleading customers through advertising, as in
Okay.
false advertising. They advertised something that didn't work.
I didn't
You
even know
wanna
that
know
was a
who
flag. Yeah.
The 2 largest firms who are
ahead.
advertising stuff like misleading customers are? It's not
ahead.
China. It's not TikTok. It's Tesla and Walmart.
Well, yeah, Tesla. How long has Tesla been purporting that it's going to have a car that's basically going to make you a grilled cheese sandwich and drive you to the moon? I mean,
They
right?
just
I mean,
straight up
promising
lie.
that
And-
forever. Yeah,
they
they
just
just lie
straight up lie.
constantly. Yeah.
And finally, human rights. Human rights
Oh,
flags. These
wow.
are companies that have
Yeah.
been flagged for human rights violations of some kind.
I mean, tech
11
is like the headquarters for unionized workers, right? I mean, it's like there's no protection there.
11% of U.S. market cap are totalitarian companies flagged for human rights. So when you do this, when you like finish all of this, you can top 5 the U.S./Chinese companies, the China threat U.S. companies. These are totalitarian companies who have multiple issues, whether it's economic consolidation, military spending, privacy, propaganda, human rights. The number 1 company in the United States, I'll give you the top 3. I'll give you the top 4. Guess them.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just wild guess.
The biggest by what? By market cap?
Yeah, by the biggest by market cap.
You want me to guess the biggest U.S. companies by market
Top
cap?
4 China threat U.S. companies.
It gotta be Meta,
Yep.
Amazon,
Yep.
Google, Alphabet.
Yep.
And don't tell me Tesla. What is it?
That is
Apple?
correct. You
Is
nailed
it
all
Tesla?
4.
Wait, Tesla is that high up now?
Tesla is that high.
It's a
It's
worthless,
so large.
worthless car company.
And it
I don't
does
understand.
all of the things. It does all of the things.
Tesla makes me laugh the most because for years now they've been screaming at ESG for like for being anti fiduciary duty and it's made up data points and it's anti shareholder, and yet the market that you're trying to defend and protect has Tesla as one of its most the biggest companies by market cap. Tesla, which has basically produced nothing. I mean,
The
really,
biggest
like
threat.
astounding to me. Astounding.
I'm sorry, but the biggest threat to national security in the United States are 4 China threat U.S. companies. That is the point.
But one of them is a racist South African. So what's the big deal?
That's true.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
So that's my autocrat hypocrisy.
Okay, you're fully exhausting me, but yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time. Why the diversion of the Cold War diversion of yes, I'm horrible for America, I'm horrible for your sons and daughters, but what about China? This has been going on forever, and the man who made this most popular and famous is Mark Zuckerberg, who
Yes,
basically
that's
said
correct.
that at a congressional hearing, basically saying 2 things. I don't know what the hell. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're screwing up everything. So you figure it out. You regulate us and figure it out. And
because we can't.
two, if you stop me and us, China's gonna come and make everything more worse. Like that. Those were his 2 arguments.
What a great argument that is. Isn't that the most middle
Matt,
school argument? Like, you're just better at this than me, so you do it.
and
But if you do it, I'm going to
his
throw a
wealth,
temper tantrum.
His wealth, Bezos's wealth, Musk's wealth, all have multiplied exponentially almost. I mean, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but their wealth gain since those hearings just a few years ago is astronomical.
It might be exponential. And
it might be.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm so tired. I'm skipping my final asshole. There's
Okay,
there's no point. Like,
okay.
It was like the but DEI. Like, look over here. It's
Yeah,
DEI.
Unfortunately, the DEI story is going to be evergreen this year, so you can come back to yelling about DEI.
Well, it shows it
later.
because John Deere just got sued by the FTC over equipment repair practices. And I just like to think that the John Deere board is like, yeah, but the DEI, right? Like, that was the problem.
There was a great article I read this morning about now that DEI programs are being eliminated, who is the disgruntled white man going to blame now for not getting promoted when they still suck at their jobs? Who are they going to blame? They can't blame the black lesbian who graduated, top in her class from Williams. They'll have to blame themselves, I guess.
Come on, that was a stereotype.
Sorry.
Inside
I don't know what I'm doing. I've lost control. I've lost
Here
control.
are your 3 options. It is masculine cosplay. It is inauguration hypocrisy, and it is autocrat hypocrisy. And you are the only one to choose.
These are all unfortunately these are all kind of, if you squint, they all kind of blend together, these 3 categories, don't they?
I know it's hard.
Don't they really?
It's hard not for them to blend together.
Topically speaking, I think that the answer would be inauguration hypocrisy. But I think you already voted for that as the story of the week. So I'm gonna, the one that really frightens me, and I hope frightens other people. Not doesn't frighten them into inaction, but frightens them into action. Right? Don't fold up the tent. Don't give up your morals and what you're fighting for. But the one that is really getting me the most is what Biden referred to with the rise of the oligarchy. It's the autocrat hypocrisy. It's this.
Yeah, there it is.
It's this using this like diversion of this Cold War with China to pretend. I don't know what you laid it out actually quite well. I hope you post that on LinkedIn because I think that's actually really a valuable analogy you created there.
My 7
you're
followers
absolutely
will agree.
Well, fine. Those 7 people can be thrilled with that because I think it's an important analogy, honestly. So that's my asshole
my God.
it is.
Let's
Autocrat
do
hypocrisy.
headlines, winners, predictions.
It becomes so exhausting.
I need to lay
shows
down.
Post Trump 2.0. Yeah, let's get through this quickly. Headline is of the week. I actually went with a headline that you already covered because I just kind of can't believe when I say this out loud. I'm in shock. But Mark Zuckerberg is reportedly blaming former Meta exec Sheryl Sandberg for a company inclusivity initiative.
Yeah.
So
that's
again,
great. I love that.
the man with complete control of his empire, the man who absolutely needed Sheryl Sandberg and has basically praised her for basically building the empire because she basically created Mark Zuckerberg along with Peter Thiel, and is maybe the lone woman in the room advocating for other women. He is now blaming the woman for trying to help women.
Zuck said on Joe Rogan that he quote couldn't be fired, right? Like that if you don't believe he has full control, it's not like figurative control. He literally has full control of the company. He can't be fired.
I mean, the only way to fire him would be what we talked about, what Mark Cuban was saying about telling your friends about Blue Sky and getting the hell off Twitter. The only thing that could have any effect on Zuckerberg, although his empire is so massive, is convincing other consumers and customers to get off his platforms. Get off his platforms. That's the only thing that could affect him. Although it might be too late for that even.
So I have two.
Go ahead.
One super short. It's McDonald's retires DEI
you like that
goal
one.
setting.
The
I love
idea
that.
Of retiring.
You retired.
Yeah, like it's like it did its. Does that mean it did a good job for some?
No. Think about its tenure at the company. It started working in 2020 when they
had a 4-year career.
A 4-year career. That's enough for it. It's time to retire. And I like to think that McDonald's board and executive team sat down around a table with a little cake in front of it.
What kind of?
That
I was
said,
thinking that.
Thank you for your service, DEI. I love it.
It wouldn't be a cake. I think it would be one of those apple pies that are scalding hot when you bite into them. That McDonald's. They don't have cake at McDonald's.
It definitely would not be chocolate cake. That's for sure. That's way too
What else
woke.
do you have? What else?
The other one is. Carrier Global Corporation appoints Amy Miles to its board of directors.
Okay,
now,
why this one?
So, two things you have to know in order to get the joke on this one. Carrier Global makes HVAC systems. They make they make air conditioners and HVAC systems. That's what they do. Okay, so first you have to know what Carrier Global is.
America loves air conditioning. Yeah.
And second, you have to know who Amy Miles is. Which, no offense to Amy Miles. Amy Miles is the CEO of Regal Entertainment, and she's on the board of Gap.
The theaters. You mean that seems like a dying business. Movie theaters. Yeah. Oh, and the Gap also a dying business.
They added to the board the
Fast
CEO
fashion.
of a dying business who oversees a dying business, and she joins on the board.
Well,
ex-Walmart, ex-Pharma, ex-American Waterworks, and ex-TIAA Cref execs. They oversee the manufacturing of air conditioners and HVAC systems.
Here's where you might be wrong, Matt. Is that the two of the more insidious things in the Western culture are, especially in the United States, are fast fashion and air conditioning. So maybe she's the right choice for that.
But can you think of a place where the air temperature is less good than inside a movie theater? Don't they always fuck up the air conditioning in there? It's always too hot or too cold.
I just like that, and this is getting really deep inside joke, but I just love companies appointing directors when we know it's supposed to be a shareholder process.
That's sort of the third point. I love that she's going to serve for like 4 months before anybody actually votes on the fact that someone in a leads dying industries is on the board.
I think Carrier Global listens to our show. I know they do, and they look at the data and they know, look, investors aren't voting anyway. They're not doing their due diligence. They're not going to look at who Amy Miles is. They don't care. They're just going to agree with us.
Yeah, that's the joke, baby.
All right. All right. So I don't care about voting on this one. We
don't need to. Who won the week for you?
Well, to me, it's simple, and again, it's like a little pat our company on the back because we're representing a hope for accountability here. But to me, it's oligarchy truthers. So Joe Biden, So Joe Biden has basically made all of our crazy rantings about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, etc. He has basically codified this as a real thing to look out for, a real thing to organize against, right? A real issue in the future of America. So I applaud Joe Biden and I applaud all the other truthers who believe in this already.
Look, Arjuna, if you need someone to suggest a future shareholder proposal,
Yeah.
why don't you suggest a divestment from American oligarchs?
Yeah, just start, Arjuna. I love it. Just start with all fake public companies. Matt can come up with a list very easily for you.
Take
All
me 3 minutes.
all the ones that are controlled by emperors. We'll help you with that.
Yeah, we'll do it. All right, my winner for the week is way stupider. Co-CEOs are the winner of the week.
Yeah, I know which company you're talking about.
This headline: Paramount will allow its 3 co-CEOs to resign and receive severance if they are demoted.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is for jobs that they've held since like May.
I love
So
it.
they're going to need severance.
It's never been a better time to be a co-CEO. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
Yep.
predictions.
Yeah, you got a
let me go
prediction?
first. I have a quick one. The DEI. This is not a difficult prediction. I mean, this is kind of obvious, but I think the DEI decision train is leaving the station. I think we're going to see a bulk of S&P 500 companies now weighing in because Costco and Apple on one side, you got your John Deere and your Toyota and your Meta on the other side. I think now it's okay for companies to basically they can plant their flag and either side. I think we're going to start to see a lot of DEI decisions coming down the pike.
That one's like, come on.
Okay, it's lame, but
Everybody's
give me a break. Give me a break.
Try this on for size. I'm going to
Yeah,
predict
go ahead.
something that we're going to do.
Yeah.
After Vivek has said that we have to stop venerating jocks and start venerating valedictorians, and the middle
Sure.
school
I agree with
cosplaying
that.
nerd boys with all the
Yep.
money have shown that they actually are terrible. The valedictorians are terrible at running stuff. They just are still middle school boys.
Yep.
I think Free Float, that's us, is going
Yes.
to add a data point that that effectively
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
oh wait, what's going on? Why is that? That should be blank. There we go.
Yeah.
I think Free Float adds a data point that's called jock influence on boards.
Yeah.
This
How do
way we
measure
can
that?
get a sense of who on the board was a jock, a sport, like an athlete. They're a
Love this.
team player. They might
Yeah.
actually be the adults in the room.
Yeah.
Jock influence.
That's a great prediction because you can actually influence that prediction.
I can do that. Yeah, that's why I like that
All right.
prediction.
I'm
That's all we
thoroughly
got.
exhausted. Thoroughly.
That's Hazelnut Rawlis. I am your analyst, old Matt Muscardi. That was enough for today. I'm gonna go take a nap and maybe have a tea. We'll be back next
That doesn't
week.
sound very masculine, Matt. I don't know.
I don't know.
What-
I don't have any
yeah.
masculine energy. We'll be back next week. Until then, goodbye.
Oh, that was exhausting.
That was a lot.
This is not an easy time. Thanks a lot, Fourth Effect.
The inauguration is next week too, so we're gonna have to like cover the actual inauguration next week. And we're gonna be talking about the parties that these morons are having. And
Well, at least I have another. Like I have another. I'm just like collecting, like tidbits and snippets to help support like asking for not-for-profit money. Like I feel like Biden's quote only helps.
yeah, I actually set up, and you can copy this in the analytics folder. I set up a thing called Client Tracker, where I'm listing out people that I'm getting confused
Okay.
because like the guy from Florida's pension fund and